Welcome to the Byzantine Coin Podcast, where we celebrate and discuss all things numismatic from the Byzantine era of the Roman Empire. My name is Kyle Bolin, and this is episode 19. Today, we're going to look at a number of coins that have auctioned and look at what the market's been doing. There's definitely has been some deals out there, and we'll go through them a little bit. And then I also want to highlight a coin that's coming to auction and do a little analysis on that. So with that, let us get started. Let's see. Here we go. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was this coin that's coming up for auction in Heritage. Let's see. There it is. This is a Romanus I solidus, and it's a very rare type with his son Christopher on one side of him and his son-in-law, the future Constantine VII, on the other side of him. If you don't know Romanus's story, Constantine VII, he came up as emperor very young, and he had a regency council. And Romanus was an admiral actually, and controlled the fleet in the Bosporus. And he was part of the regency council, or he worked his way on the regency council, and then got rid of it, and essentially usurped power for himself. And he was a really capable emperor. He did not kill Constantine VII and sort of imprisoned him and forced him to, I say imprisoned, he imprisoned him in the palace, and married his daughter to him, but ran the empire and did it very well. And he had several sons. His first son was Christopher, and he was elevated as co-emperor, and eventually above the pecking order of Constantine VII. But Christopher died before he could take power, and Romanus had a couple other sons who were not as competent as Christopher, according to the sources. And as Romanus got older, I think he felt some guilt. He's starting to do some soul searching as he got older. And I think his two sons were afraid that he was going to elevate Constantine VII over them, and they usurped Romanus and imprisoned him on an island in a monastery. The people of Constantinople lost their minds about this, and then there was another revolt, and Romanus's two sons were then arrested and imprisoned on the same island and in the same monastery, leading to Constantine VII taking overall power for himself. He was called Porphyrogenitus, which is born in the purple. It was a purple room in the palace where heirs and royal princes and princesses were born. Or were taken to be born, so they were commonly called born in the purple. So anyway, and Romanus's family continued to have a lot of power and influence over the next couple of reigns through his illegitimate son named Basil Lecapenus. Anyhow, Romanus was actually, like I said, he was considered the gentle usurper, and he was considered a very good emperor at the time, a very able leader. Now, this solidus here is very rare in that it has Romanus and his two sons on either side of him on the reverse. I'm sorry, his son and his son-in-law on either side of him on the reverse, and on the obverse is a Christ enthroned on the obverse. Now, there are, I believe, 9 of these known. Fue in his corpus cites 9 coins. 7 of them are in museum collections, and only 2 are in private hands. One sold was part of the Hesseloi sale in 1958, and then it was in the NK collection, which is Bourget in 1992. And then there was another one in the Conti collection that Baldwin sold in 1994 and again in 1995. And then it was in the New York sale in 1999. So there's two that are on the market. This, based on my research, would be a third. So this is one that hasn't been seen before. I don't know if it's been sitting in a collection forever or if it's something recently found. But this is an example that's new to market. If we look at a C search, there are three auction records here. Two of them are the same coin. The first one is the Golden Horn collection, which is a famous collection sold in 2009. And this is the one from Bourget in 1992 and the Hesseloy example from 1958. So that tracks. And then from the second one is from Syncona 3 from the Mueller collection. And this one was the one that was in the New York sale. And also the Conti collection in Baldwin's. And Nomos then sold it again. So it sold in 2011 in Syncona 3 at roughly $19,000 with the exchange rate of the day. And then it sold again in 2014 at roughly $15,000 at the exchange rate of the day. So it sold for less a couple of years later. So that said, this is a new coin to the market. Heritage is selling it. They've got a $5,000, I think, starting bid on it, and they think it'll go between $10,000 and $15,000. I think that is fairly reasonable. It's got wavy flan and scuffs, and it's an extra fine. But again, unless I'm missing something, and please let me know if that's the case, this is a coin that is new to market. So will be interesting to see where it goes, and it would be really interesting to know where it came from, but I don't think we ever will. So that's the one coin that's coming up that I wanted to highlight. A really awesome coin. I'd love to own it, but I don't see it in my future. But a very rare example, and the third now, I guess, in private hands. So let's move forward from that and take a look at some of the stuff, some of the coins that sold in the recent CNG E auction. The E auction came out at the same time as CNG 130 and had a number of really nice Byzantine coins being offered. Some of them from the Wayne Scheibel collection that for some reason they didn't think to put in the feature. But starting off, this Justin the First, I thought was tremendous. Yeah, it had some graffiti, but it was full weight at 4.41 grams. You know, the way I look at graffiti is it distracting graffiti, and here it is in the field on the reverse. I don't find it overly distracting, but it's there. But look at that style and strike. I mean, it's uncommon for the type, exceptionally uncommon. It also looks like the Officina, which was an H here. The Greek letter escapes me at the moment. It looks like it was overcut on something else. But it's a fascinating coin. It's a really nice coin. It sold for $1,100. I thought that was a very, very good price for the buyer on this. I think that if you had put this in another auction, I could see it going $15,000 to $2,000. But if you're looking at it in terms of, okay, I'm going to consign this to, or I'm going to get it slabbed. It's going to come back with graffiti. It's probably going to come back clipped because the weight is sort of right on the edge. And they probably would come up with a whole number of other issues with it. But to me, this is an outstanding, superior example for the type. So congratulations if you're the winner on this. I didn't bid in this auction. I was in Disney World with my family, the happiest place on earth. And I couldn't really get away to bid on things or watch it, but there were some deals, as we'll see going forward. There's been a lot of deals, and we'll go to the next one. This is a bronze. Bronze is strong. Bronze is really strong. This is a decanumium, 21 millimeters, 4.71 grams of Justin the First. And this is plated in MIBE, Money of the Incipient Byzantine Empire. Han's sequel to MIB, where he updates a number of things. Pedigree to 1975. I mean, it's a really beautiful coin. It sold for quite a bit last time. I think I had said 900, and the last time it came up at the CNG auction in 2019. This time it sold for $1,500. So bronze continues to attract buyers and get bids, especially quality bronze. I mean, and it is really nice. And a pedigree and a plate coin like that to boot, yeah. Not surprised it went this high. I don't know that I would have paid this much for it, but as I said, bronze Byzantine continues to be very strong. Another bronze offering from this was the joint reign issue of Justin the First and Justinian the First that they only put out for I want to say a couple of months, yeah, April to August. This is a phallus, a bronze phallus, 31 millimeters, 15.19 grams, ex Voda collection. These are rare. They are out there. This one doesn't have a lot of details, but it still sold for $600. So again, a rare bronze, commanding, I think, a very decent price on this for the consigner. Here we have, let's see, it's lot. I don't know where it says the lot. Is it 1286 the lot? Let me look back here. Yeah, lot 1286. This is a Tiberius the Second Constantine solidus, 21 millimeters, 4.45 grams, and it said toned, some hairlines near EF. This is also from the Wayne Scheibel collection, and it was purchased from Harlan Burke, but it's got a pedigree to the greatest collection of Byzantine coins ever put together, the William Herbert Hunt collection from Sotheby's in 1990. I think this is one of the buys of the century. I don't know. I don't know. First of all, I'm not sure why they didn't put this in CNG 130. I mean, looking at the coin, okay, yeah, not it's not great, but it's not bad either, right? And um, I think that at $850, this is a great buy with the pedigree that's there. You know, if you look at what gold is trading at right now, and I granted it was a little bit less then, it's probably at 4.4 grams trading around that's like 600 and something dollars, $650. I think, well, I can't remember the exact numbers. I had it worked out, but it's I think it's 620 or 630, $630. That's the melt value. So this sold for $850. It's roughly $220 over melt for a solidus that's in pretty good shape that has pedigree to the William Herbert Hunt collection. This is a great buy for whoever bought this. This is one where I'm sort of like bummed that I wasn't watching the auction because I would bid on this immediately. So yeah, I don't know if everybody sort of had their focus at CNG 130 and spent all their money there or moved on, but wow, a great price for the buyer here. Next up, lot 1292. This was a half phallus of Phocas from Ravenna. I don't know a lot about these. This is ex Voda collection. At the ANA, Harlan Burke had one that was comparable in quality to this, I think. And he wanted $750 for it, which ended up, who knew, being a pretty good price for it, because this one fetched $1,000 from a hammer perspective. Bronze, quality bronze, rare bronze continues to be strong. I'll say it again. This is a lot 1308, Leo the Third, with Constantine the Fifth on the reverse. This is also ex William Herbert Hunt collection. And this sold for 850. Again, I think a bargain price for this coin. I thought both Hunt coins should have gone for between the Tiberius the second that I just talked about, as well as this. I figured easily between 12 and $1,500, maybe more. This is a rare coin. You don't see it very often yet. Lightly clipped, like graffiti. So I mean, yeah, there's some condition issues, but look at that strike. They're great portraits. Again, if you're the buyer on this, you got yourself a great deal. Moving on to lot 1314. This is a Nicephorus, the first solidus. Um, and this is from a style perspective, I think the finest style that Nicephorus issued. You have his son on the reverse, Nicephorus on the obverse. A lot of dirt or fine patina or incrustations on this. If you have the ability to clean coins and clean gold, I think this is an outstanding buy at $1,200. You could clean this, assuming it's nice underneath. I mean, maybe it's a little porous. It's tough to tell, but I think you could clean this coin up and have an outstanding example that would command a fair bit more money. I mean, really nice examples of these go for four, three, four, sometimes $5,000. So that's I think if you're able to clean this coin, I think you got yourself a great deal. So that was the CNG auction that recently happened. Again, not sure where the buyers were on this, but some great deals to be had. I'm not sure, as I said before, that I agree with CNG excluding some of these from the Scheibel collection from CNG 130, especially with some of the pedigrees we're talking about. And yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see what happens. But looking at the rest of the auctions coming up, there are some other deals coming up here. So we'll keep going. This is from the Gadori auctions. This is an auction house in Monaco. They typically do, I think, a big fall sale every year, and they have always have a lot of great Byzantine in that sale, and typically a lot of Western mint Byzantine gold. This is one, a Justinian the First that they sold, and this is they say it's a Rome mint. I don't know that I agree with that unless there's something about the die that they were able to do a die match with a Solidus that had a 6 point star on the reverse, or or maybe one with the Ramab under there. But if I didn't know any better, I mean I would not characterize this as a Roman mint Solidus. I would say there's nothing to my eyes that would say that this is a Rome mint, unless, like I said, the style is a giveaway and you know it. NGC says Rome. They said Rome early on this. This hammered for 1,300 euro. Now let's look at where it's hammered before. They listed a number of things. They had Triton 20 and the Andre Constantine Demetriadis collection. And let's take a look because when this hammered at Heritage for the Demetriadis collection in 2014, it had a $5,500 hammer. And then same coin, I think we scrolled down here a little bit. Where'd it go? I had it. I think in Triton this hammered for 2,000. Let's see. I had it prepared here and then I started playing around with it. Yeah, there you go. And Triton 20 in 2017, it hammered for $2,000. And today, or recently, this hammered for 1,300 euro. The euro right now is about $1.16 to a euro. So you factor a 16% rate on there, plus the buyer's premium, which is, I think it's 20%, but or 22. You're looking at about a 38% premium on the hammer on that. That's still a tremendous price for this, a tremendous bargain for this, if you base it on what this had hammered for previously in 2014 and 2017. So, yeah. And I don't know why that's the case. I mean, as we'll see, looking at some of the other stuff from Gadori, um, there's some other good deals here. This one is a just in the second, 1/4 Siliqua from Ravenna. These are very small. This hammered for 750 euro. Not the most expensive. This is also was sitting in a choice extra fine, 5 of 5, 5 of 5 NGC holder with a star. I don't know why they starred this coin. It's off center. Maybe okay. I sort of know why they did it, and it's because of the toning. But it's off center, and to me, it's not really all that great. And these have hammered for more. I did do an AC search look up on them, and several have hammered for more, but they are of much finer quality. So always good to have that star on there, and that always attracts buyers. But not quite sure I would have given this a star if I was doing the grading. Maybe it looks amazing in hand. Who knows? Next up, let's look at this one. This was lot 1303, a Maurice Tiberius from Carthage. Indicational year, it looks like I don't think they put it out there, but indicational year, I'm assuming that's a D. If it's a D, it's indicational year 14. If it's an A, it's I guess indicational year 11. But these typically go for a lot more. I mean, yeah, it's got some fine patina on it and stuff like that. And this is AU 5 of 5, 4 of 5 light marks, right? But typically, I mean, this sold for 850 euro. Typically, I've seen these go for between 18 and $2,400. So again, a great deal on this, I think, in my opinion. This is lot 1304 from Gadori. This is a Maurice Tiberius Rome mint. You can tell that by the row at the end of the legend on the reverse. These always command a fair amount of money. And this one went for 2,800 euros, which is, I think, somewhat strong. Yeah, good price for the consigner on this. This also straight graded. It looked like in a mint state 4 or 5, 4 or 5 holder. So, and it's very rare. It is very rare. So yeah, this went for sort of what it should have gone for, maybe a little stronger. Certainly not a bargain here. Okay, this is lot 1306. This is a solidus of Phocos. This is 4.47 grams. It's in an extra fine holder. It's double struck. Coin looks like crap. There's no doubt about it, right? I mean, it's a rare type with the consular bust, and they typically command a premium. And this is at 4.47 grams. This hammered for 450 euro. That hammered for under melt. So essentially, the market, or if you want to call it the market, or in this auction, it would have been better to take this coin and bring it someplace and sell it for melt, and you would have made more money. And we're seeing that you see that in the U.S. market. If you have a common pre-1933 gold, any kind of premium on it is gone, and you're really just getting melt value at this point because gold prices are so high. But this is concerning because, I mean, if you listen to Aaron's podcast the other day, the Ancient Coin podcast, they were talking about changing the laws in the source countries to reflect more of a UK vision of finding coins and reporting them and being able to make money and that thing. If you find these in let's say Tunisia or Italy or Greece or Turkey or someplace like that, with gold being the way it is, does it? I mean, and you don't want to necessarily report it to the government because you'll lose it. I mean, what's to stop you from taking this and melting it down and turning it into jewelry if there's like little to no premium on some of this stuff? I think with with high gold prices, it wipes out some of the numismatic value until prices sort of settle down a little bit and even off. But I think it also puts into jeopardy fines. So if you found, let's say you found 25 solidi of Heraclius or Focus or somebody, an emperor that's very common, and they're like mid-range condition wise. Do you take it and try to sell them as coins, or does it make sense just to melt it down and turn it into jewelry or something like that, and not have the hassle? So I think, high gold prices are they're creating interesting challenges within the numismatic community. You think it's going to just be a driver of value, but it's really interesting to see how things react. But if you bought this, I'm sorry, well, if you consign this, you sold this for less than melt. Yeah, that's what you're going to receive on this, unless you're getting a piece of the buyer's premium. And this is not going to be the only case of this. Moving on, lot 1307. This was a Heraclius tremesis from Ravenna. Anything Ravenna is typically on the rarer side. This also was in a Choice AU Star NGC holder. And it's a really nice coin. There's no doubt about it. This only realized 1,200 euros. I think this should have brought more. And again, I don't know what's going on. A lot of bargains out there. I mean, the buyer showed up for CNG 130. There's no doubt about it, right? Maybe this just wasn't on everybody's radar. Maybe it's the European auctions and the fact that U.S. Buyers are sort of hesitant to buy because the exchange rate sucks and who knows what's going to happen with the tariffs and everything else, right? But I feel like this should have gone for a lot more money. Here's one that went for what it should have gone for, in my opinion. And this was one of the few that I was really interested in. And I didn't bid on it or anything like that. But if I was going to bid on anything in this auction, it would have been this. But I was afraid it was going to go for this much money, and it did. This is an Anastasius II solidus from Naples. And these are super rare. And this is a well-struck, well-centered example at 4.14 grams. And this went for, I mean, I think the NGC's got it graded choice very fine. I mean, I would pop it right out of that case personally, but and this realized 7,000 euro, and I expected this to go between 6 and 9 maybe. So it's probably sort of right in the middle of where it would go for, but no bargain here. On the coins I'm interested, none of them are going for melt. It's obviously rarities and coins of exceptional condition are still commanding quite a premium. This is lot 1327 at Gadori. This is a Theophilus solidus of Naples. And again, a rare coin, not in great shape, but these are super rare. This one realized 4,200 euro. Again, I think that's probably right where it should be auctioning for. This was another bargain. This is a Constantine VIII Histomenon nomisma, 4.41 grams. I would put, the NGC has this at AU 505, 205 with edge bends. I would put this solidly in an extra fine category. If I outside of the NGC grading system, I would say this is EF. Yeah, I mean it's got a little wear on it. It's got some tone. and maybe there's a nick or two on the sides, right? But um, these typically go for, in this shape between 1,500 and $2,000, maybe a little bit more. And this hammered for 850 euro. Great deal on this coin. Here's another one from Gadori, lot 693. And this is a somewhat worn example of Constance II from Carthage. 4.46 grams. Looks like indicational year 10 or 11 there. It looks like IA on it. So, yeah, it's this is the one they didn't even, I don't think they put it into an NGC holder, but it's AU, but hammers for 500 euros. Again, that hammer is under the melting price of gold. So in this auction, this coin has no numismatic value. It is literally going for under melt. That's the money that the consigner will get. So yeah, not sure what to say about that. Except good deal for whoever bought it. Moving on to MDC, another Monaco auction house. Lot 241. So there was two of these Constantine the Fourth solid eye that they had in this auction. This was the first one. This was in a mint state 4 of 5, 5 of 5 holder. These are the non-fine style examples. Still very nice. And this was a nice coin, and it sold for 1,200 euro. I feel like that's probably where it should have hammered for, given the style and the type and the holder that it's in. Maybe it would have gone for a little bit more, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the 1,200 euro price realized on this. Now, the next coin I want to highlight is the same type, different officina, but it's the same type. And clearly it's sharper and it's a nicer coin, but not that much nicer. This one was in an NGC gem mint state 5 of 5, 5 of 5 holder, 4.51 grams. Really nice. But this one got 5,000 euro. Probably because of the holder that it was in. I think if it was outside of the holder, probably would have gone for a lot less, even though it is gorgeous. But you look at the two coins. If you wanted one of these, yeah, not quite as nice, but 1,200 euros versus 5,000 euro. So it's interesting to see the price action on essentially two of the exact type of coins, and one is a better example condition wise and strike wise, but it's a surprise. I guess I'm not surprised, but I just wanted to highlight the difference on that. That just a little bit a bump in quality brings it. Now, if this had choice mint state instead of gem, I think that's half the price. I mean, you're buying a nice coin, but it is the NGC grade that is driving the price action on this, no doubt about it. This is lot 243 at MDC. This is a Tiberius the Third Apsamar solidus. I think arguably the finest style portrait type that he put out in his 7-year reign. And this was in a mint state 4 of 5 holder with the dreaded brushed, which is a giant nothing burger notation on it. Brushed means nothing. Anyway, this I thought went cheap at 1,200 euro for the style type. I mean, I've seen this style type go for 2,500 to $3,500. And I've also seen this style type sometimes at different auctions go for like $1,800. So you can bounce all over the place depending on who's bidding and how much somebody wants it. But for my money, this is a really nice example, sharp, really sharply struck. And I think at 1,200 euro, if you were the buyer, you got yourself a deal. Lot 244, this is an Anastasius the second solidus. This is in a mint state 405 holder, no notations on it. You don't have a full legend here, but you have a really nice portrait and a coin that is really sharp. I think that this sold at 2,600 euro. I feel like that's where it should have gone for, maybe even a little more. I think again, a lot of the action on this is driven by the grade on this. I've seen these go for a little bit more. I've seen them go for a little bit less. So, yeah, but it's a nice portrait on here for sure. But 2,600 euro, that's a good median price. This one I thought was a pretty good bargain as well. This is lot 245 at MDC. This is a Leo the Fifth, the Armenian solidus, with his son Constantine on the reverse. I thought that this was a really nice coin. It is a little light at 4.33 grams, but 21 millimeter flan. This is a mint state 5 of 5, 3 of 5 brushed. It looks like they don't call it clipped, which is surprising given the lighter weight on it, but it is a sharp coin, a sharp example. This realized at 2,400 euro. All in, that's probably about a 32 to 30, $3,300 coin, I guess. I would be much more, I think that's a bargain. I think that this should have gone for at least 3,000 euro, given the quality of it. It's a really nice example. So if you bought this, I think you got yourself a good purchase here. Let's move on to Harmers of London. This is lot 100. They had this as Constance the Second, a solidus at 4.45 grams. They called it rare, which it is, but they said Seer 937. They got the Seer number wrong on this. So Seer 937 is the type with the Conob and the K, but it is not the type with the obverse has a plume over the young emperor's head. Seer actually categorizes these as Heraclius. I think Heraclius Constantine or Constantine the Third, and I think the Seer number on it is I want to say 932, maybe. Does that sound right? 932. And these are super rare. Just to take a look at some here. The last four that sold of these types in 2024, this example went for $11,000. In 2016, $9,900. In 2014, $5,800. And in 2004, 4,250. So this was 2,500 British pounds. I think the exchange rate is like $1.36, I think, something along those lines, plus another 20. So, you know, you're still looking at quite a bit of money in the over like $3,300 maybe for it. But you compare that to what some of the others have went for that were categorized correctly. And the attribution to Constantine III or Heraclonus, which are both Heraclius's sons, it's a little, you know, it's controversial, put it that way. There's nothing while there's nothing definitive on this. It's just a type of coin that is different from some of the other ones that were out there. And some of the scholars had said they're Heraclius's sons, rather than Heraclius's grandson, Constans II. Um, I don't know. I mean, both of them had reigns long enough that they should have minted coins. It was what you did. I mean, it was a way of getting your name out there, right? Unfortunately, they all sort of had, Constantine as their main name. It was either Heraclius Constantine or Constantine Heraclius, which people call Heraclonus, or Constans II, which was also Constantine. Constantine. So there was like not a lot of way to differentiate Constantines on things. But these are rare types. There's not a lot of them out there with the plume and the young-looking emperor. So whether they are attributed right in Seer or incorrectly in Seer, they are very rare and they command a pretty good premium. And this one was missed. So whoever bought this, congratulations on an outstanding purchase. That's a great value for a coin of this type. So yeah, I mean there there have been a lot of bargains out there, and I don't know if they're auction specific reasons for this or if there's a combination of exchange rates and tariff concerns and some of the other stuff that are coming on, or maybe the numismatic premium is being put on hold because the price of gold is continuing to rise. I mean, I think it was at $4,100. I think it settled back around four. Like, I didn't check it today, but it's going to continue to go up. So I think it is anyway. So we'll see what that does to auctions going forward. But something like this, I mean, this is the choice of the auction house, right? I don't know Harmers of London. I know that they've been around a long time, but I don't know what their specialties are, right? I think if you had brought this to a CNG or a Nomos or a Loy, I think they would have been all over this as something very rare and highlighted it as such. Now they said this is very rare or rare, but I think you would have commanded a much better hammer if it had been at one of the main auction houses that I think would have specialized in this type. So anyway, we'll keep an eye out on how things continue to hammer. There are a number of auctions coming up. Gorny and Mosh has got an auction that's going off, I think, tomorrow with a large Byzantine selection. Lloyd Numismatic has another really great offering of Tartaron around Theodora, and one of the best Isaac the First Tartarons I've ever seen. I think they have a starting price of $5,000, 5,000 francs on it. I have no idea where it's going to go. Two people really want it. It's the best I've ever seen. I don't have it queued up here to look at it, but there are some really good things coming up. I always find that the Swiss auction houses always command a premium because of the exchange rate. So, it'll be interesting to see where they go. But yeah, there's definitely some bargains out there. I'm a little bummed that I was at Disney World and I missed out on some of them. The auctions I watched, they all go for mega money. But yeah, I think that some of these coins that we highlighted here today, I think if you bought them, you're doing really well. So, going to be a short episode today. I just wanted to highlight a couple things that have auctioned. I'd really like to do some educational episodes coming up. I was working on one and I just felt like it wasn't quite where it needed to be, and I wanted to get something out there. So, yeah, so maybe for episode 20, I will do something educational. I was thinking of highlighting the great Byzantine auctions in history and sort of where they rate. And so maybe I'll do that for the next episode. We'll see. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on things and how they hammer and see if this sort of dip is just a blip or if this is a sign of a greater trend. And maybe I can actually get a couple of bargains out there in the next couple auctions. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you on episode 20. Take care.